While most cars grow in size from generation to generation, Suzuki has actually made its Vitara slightly smaller than before to make it more tasty to drive in town. Now, the old version used to be a rival for the Honda CR-V, but this new, smaller version, it's more of a rival to Honda's HR-V, the smaller version. So, the boot, it's not actually as big as the Hondas, but it does have some useful features, such as cubby spaces there where you can leave your Mars bars. Also, got some good underfloor storage, and look, you can hold the cover up like that if you want to. There's various tethering points there. There's no load lip to lift stuff over, and when you fold down the rear seats, there we go, you get a relatively flat floor. It does pop up a bit there, but you can still slide things right to the back. As for the back seats themselves, now I'll just pop these back. So these rear doors do open at quite a wide angle, but the opening with this wheel arch there, it's dead easy to bang your knee on it getting in. I'm only saying that because I've done it and it blooming hurt. Now, in the back of the car, just put this up there. There's actually lots of headroom because it's quite a tall vehicle. Knee room's all right, the footwells, they're not the biggest, and you do have this hump in the floor. But actually, out of all these kind of small SUV crossover thingies, this is probably the best for carrying 3 people in the back at once. And you can see for yourself by clicking up there on the card to watch that in-depth practicality video. You'll also be able to see how easy it is to fit a baby seat in the back of this car and just how much stuff we could fit in the Vitara's boot. So now onto the front seats, because when you compare this car to something like a Peugeot 2008, when you climb in, you'll be like, oh dear, this isn't very nice. And part of the reason isn't necessarily the design. I mean, they tried to lighten it up a little bit with these anodized air vents around. It's the quality of the plastics, just horrible, hard, brittle plastics. And this, believe it or not, is a range-topping version. I can't fault cubby spaces though. I mean, the door bins, they're absolutely huge. They can even hold this big thermos flask, which is good. And equipment's generous as well, right across the range. So all models, they get DAB digital radio, you get air conditioning, you get Bluetooth for your phone, and you get cruise control. But you want to step up to the SZT model because then you get satellite navigation. And the actual infotainment screen itself, it's pretty easy to use. It's not too bad at all considering the price of this car. It can be a bit laggy, but on the whole, I'm rather impressed. Now, if you click up there on the card in the top right hand corner of the screen, you can see our in-depth video review of the infotainment system and have another good look around this car's cabin.
Now though, it's time for the road test bit.
So you can get this Suzuki Vitara with petrol or diesel power. Now the diesel is a good idea if you do lots and lots of miles, but only if you do loads of miles, to be fair. If not, you should get one of the petrols. Now the 1.6 litre petrol is adequate. It does the job nicely, it's nippy enough, and it should return decent enough economy. But whatever you do, do not drive this 1.4 litre turbo petrol because you're going to end up wanting it. So 0 to 60 takes less than 10 seconds. It feels genuinely pretty fast. And economy, well, Suzuki claims 52 miles per gallon, and I'm actually averaging 41, which is very good. The problem is that this engine is only available on the top spec car, and that's, well, it just makes this car a little bit too expensive for its own good. So yeah, don't drive the engine, you'll be none the wiser, just get the 1.6 litre normal petrol. Regardless of which engine you go for, this Suzuki Vitara, it's actually surprisingly good fun to drive. So the steering's sharp, the gearbox is nice. It doesn't roll hardly at all in the corners. You think it's going to because it's tall, but it just doesn't. It grips and it goes round. In fact, I was quite surprised when I drive this, how much of a smile it can put on my face. There are a few things that aren't so good about it. So the suspension can feel a little bit bumpy at slower speeds, but the faster you go, the better it gets. The only problem is the faster you drive in this car, the more road and wind noise you get. I can't fault the visibility though. I mean, I like the way this car feels like a miniature SUV rather than just a pumped up hatchback like some of the crossovers. And all-round visibility is very good. Front, back, there's hardly any blind spots, even in the rearmost pillar there. And you can see for yourself by clicking up there to watch our 360-degree video of this car.
However, the Vitara isn't perfect. There are a few annoying things about it.
This car may look rugged, but some of the plastics are less so. The door's shut with a really expensive sounding clunk. Not. You can only get auto city braking on the SZ5. It's not available as an option on other models. That was hard.
The guides on the parking camera don't move when you turn the steering wheel, and they look like they've been drawn on by Microsoft Paint.
The keyless boot lock mechanism looks like a weird mole.
Moo.
Thankfully, to make up for all this, there's plenty of cool things about this little Suzuki.
Like some big serious off-roaders, this little SUV gets a hill descent control button for those who can't manage steep slopes on their own.
This is one of the lightest cars in its class. It weighs a little over a ton actually, but still can't deadlift it.
You can get the Vitara with all-wheel drive, and it even has a lock mode for really slippery surfaces.
You can fit the parcel shelf under the false boot floor.
This little 1.4 litre turbo petrol engine has more horsepower per litre than the mighty Dodge Viper. It's just that the Viper has a lot more litres.
So then, overall, what do I think of the Suzuki Vitara? Well, some of the plastics in the cabin are pretty horrible, and it's quite noisy at speed, but it's a practical car for such a small thing, and it's surprisingly good fun to drive. Now, if you click up there, you can get more information and find out the best deal you can get on a Suzuki Vitara at carwow.co.uk. Thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel. And if you click over there, you can watch our detailed practicality, infotainment and 360-degree passenger ride videos for the Suzuki Vitara. Now, did you know that Suzuki was originally founded as a weaving company in 1909? Who knew?